These very same Republicans, in many instances, were the ones who were saying under no circumstances were they going to cut Medicaid. And then almost every single one of them, with the exception of Representative Fitzpatrick and Representative Massey, every single one of them, other than those two, voted to enact the largest cut to Medicaid in American history. And in the same bill, they ripped $186 billion away from SNAP. These people literally stole food from the mouths of hungry children, seniors, and veterans, and all of this was done so they can enact massive tax breaks for their billionaire donors. And then they made those permanent. And now here we are, clock is ticking, in December, Affordable Care Act tax credits expire on the 31st at the end of the month, and bills are still being introduced now? Listen, the most meaningful path forward, clearly, is for just a handful of Republicans to join us in the House and for just a handful of Senate Republicans to vote in the next day or so on the bill that will be on the Senate floor that will extend the Affordable Care Act tax credit, so that tens of millions of people, including in dozens of Republican-controlled states, don't have their health care snatched away from them because it becomes unaffordable.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Two quick questions. One, as Democrats look to retake the majority in both chambers, are you planning to make an endorsement in the Texas Senate race? And two, yesterday, Congresswoman Crockett said that she won't need to win all the Trump voters in order to win the Texas Senate race. And given that state is dominantly red, would you say that it's vital that any candidate projects their message across the board to every single voter in order to win the state?
Well, I think I'm obviously focused on the House, not the Senate, and we're only 3 seats short of taking back the majority, and we are going to take the majority back in the next Congress. The Republicans have been a disaster. They're totally on the run. They failed the American people. The cost of living is out of control. Democrats are the only group of people in this town and across the country actually interested in dealing with the affordability crisis. That's where our focus will continue to be. Donald Trump and Republicans don't even think that there is an affordability crisis. I mean, Donald Trump had the nerve to call it a hoax and a scam. Think about that. This guy just regularly lies to the American people. The same person who ran on affordability last year when he was trying to convince the American people to vote for him, and even said, along with Republicans, that they were going to lower the cost of living on day one, now says there is no affordability crisis. To me, that's what the American people are concerned about. Which party is actually committed to making their life better? That would be us, Democrats, as demonstrated last month in the off-year elections all across the country, which is why Democrats decisively won up and down the ballot. In terms of what's happening in Texas in the Senate race, before anyone gets to the general election, obviously there's going to be a competitive primary, and so we'll see what happens during the first Tuesday in March.
Do you think any endorsement from you might add fuel to that fire and help get a win?
We're still in the process of working through the House battlefield, so I've got no visibility into what we might do at any point into the future relative to the Senate. At the moment, we'll leave that to Chuck Schumer and the crew over there. You got it? You?
Me?
Yeah. We'll go you, and then we'll go to you. How's that work?
If Republicans try to pass the NDAA on suspension, will Democrats provide enough votes for that to pass, and how will you vote?
Well, that's still going to be evaluated. We have a leadership meeting today at 5:15. Then we have a steering and policy meeting where we'll have that discussion at 6. And then we'll have a caucus meeting tomorrow where we'll hear a presentation about the NDAA as well as differing perspectives that might exist as to whether the bill has gone far enough at this particular moment to merit overwhelming support from the House Democratic Caucus. That remains to be seen.
I wanted to ask about Congressman Henry Cuellar. Now that he's been pardoned by President Trump, do you think it's appropriate for him to be brought back into the fold, to be given his appropriations title back?
It's my expectation, consistent with the rule that exists relative to this very issue, and as has been the case in past practice, that he would be restored to the ranking member subcommittee position that he's previously held. And it's my understanding that the Appropriations Committee on the Democratic side will be meeting to take that business up in short order.
Congressman Luna last night accused you of blocking her stock ban discharge petition. She said that you're stonewalling. Any comment or reaction to that?
Here's the interesting thing. I've never had a conversation with her. Know nothing about her commitment to this issue. And if she wants to lay out a path forward on this stock ban issue, where she parachuted in to the middle of it, she has not been part of the bipartisan conversations that have been ongoing, led on our side by Seth Magaziner, Representative Ocasio-Cortez, and Representative Pramila Jayapal, along with Joe Morelli, has not been part of those conversations. They've been led by Chip Roy. She parachutes into this situation. Nobody fully understands her intention. She's had zero conversation, as far as I can tell, with any of us. And so she's just shooting off at the mouth, as she always does. She's undermining her own credibility and position. If she wants to have a conversation, find me on the floor. It's Democrats who are actually serious about enacting a congressional stock ban. And we're committed to using every tool available to make sure that this happens. Why doesn't Representative Anna Paulina Luna go talk to the Deputy Speaker, Mike Johnson? He's the one that a few days ago said her discharge petition was dead on arrival. See, when she runs off at the mouth, she loses all credibility. Talk to your own team. We're committed to this effort on the House Democratic side. And as a matter of fact, if she's interested in dealing with corruption, do something about the active, ongoing crime scene coming out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. The most corrupt administration in American history, and it's not even close. And we don't hear a peep from her or any of her colleagues about even extending the stock ban to the executive branch, to Donald Trump, to J.D. Vance, or perhaps even to the Supreme Court. So we're committed to this issue as Democrats. We want to make it happen. The only open question about whether we're going to move forward and deal with this aspect of cleaning up corruption in this town, a congressional stock ban, is whether Republicans have the will to partner with us in a bipartisan way. Thank you, everyone.